Yo, 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 yo,
Yo,
yo. What is the deal? Zach, what's going on? This is the Boxing Rush Hour Show, live edition, coming to you on Wednesday afternoon. Um, some interesting things going on, but before we get into any of that, I'm your host, or one of your hosts, I should say, Abe G. This is Zachary Zungri Ochoa, professional fighter, co-host. Zach, what is going on with you, man? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, man. I've been, working hard, been doing my thing, just chilling, enjoying life with my family, my son. Uh, man, I love Nonito Donaire, man. No matter what, he'll always be an all-time great for me.
Yes, yes, yes. And listen, before we get into that, I just want to tell you that I did, and my wife took my son to go see Zootopia, not Zootopia, but yeah, Zootopia too. It was
Yep,
this one,
yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fire, right?
Oh, and she was like, "Yo, it was a great movie. My
Really good
son loved
movie.
it. He was all about it." And I was like, "All right, that's what's up." That it's hitting like $1 billion in box office. So it was just like
It's the number one movie in China right now.
ridiculous, ridiculous. So it's killing it. So yeah, took your advice, got little man over there to that movie, and this on and popping with that.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, listen, it's Jake Joshua as they have it in their fight
Jake
week.
Joshua, it's JJ Week. That's how they
It's
should have it. It's JJ Week.
JJ week, yeah. Um, Look, Miami's popping right now. Probably a lot going on. They had
Wow.
the workouts at Club Live. You know,
Yeah, yeah. Listen, that was the first club I've ever went to in my life, Club Live. Now,
mm,
when I was 18 years old, I couldn't even get in or nothing. And of course, they got me and my people. They got me in, and it was crazy. That was one of the craziest things I ever witnessed in my life. Yeah.
yeah, and listen, it wasn't the only time you went to Miami, and there was another time you went to Miami, and you had ran into Anthony Joshua, and we had spoke about this before. What was that interaction like? Let's just get that out the way. What,
It
what
was,
was
it
what was that
was,
situation like?
it was cool, man. It was chill. Everybody, like, some people didn't even know him, and we was just hanging out, man, having a good time. And then real laid back guy, no flash, no crazy jewelry, nothing. Just chilling. We was talking boxing. It was really, really cool. And it was it the first, yep, it was the first time I met him. And yeah, he got my respect ever since then. You know what I'm saying? He was just chilling, like multi-millionaire dude, just having a good time.
Yeah, yeah, that's what's up, man. And I'm sure there was a lot of other things going on around.
I'm sure maybe.
Maybe. Hey, all right, listen, this morning, or last night into this morning, and some of them were early this morning. First, Tim Zhu in Australia, he won a unanimous decision over Velasquez. This was the first time that he was with the Cuban coach. I can't remember his name, down from Miami. I didn't get to see the fight because it was in Australia. There was no U.S. distribution. You had to kind of find a way to do this and that just to get it, and I wasn't about to do all that. So he came out unanimous decision. Nonito Dornea in Japan, same situation, no U.S. distribution, but he lost split decision against Seiya Sumi, and who
Yep.
was the WBA bantamweight champ. There was a scorecard in there that shout out to Jake Donovan. He was saying that it was just like bogus
Yeah,
scorecard.
yeah. One of the
Uh,
scorecards was literally 117 to 111, which
yeah,
is really wild.
yeah,
Really
and they
wild.
they said it was a close fight. So, listen, Onito Donaire, regardless, the dude is a Hall of Famer. He um he is a champion in and out of the ring. You ever run into that dude in the street? He is cool in a fan, give you all the time that you need.
Yes.
And You can't say nothing bad about that dude.
Yeah, the thing is this. It goes to show you that an old Anito Donaire can is hanging there with a 29-year-old. He's 43 years old. He's hanging in there with a 29-year-old world champion that's in his prime. And for him to get a split decision with him, that's how great a man like Nito Donaire is. Now, he could have pulled the whole Lomachenko thing and say, I'm gonna retire, before anything and stuff like that. But guess what? He's in there. He was trying to become a world champion again, do what he loves doing. And it's not that he needs to. He loves doing it. You understand? He's got his wife training him and all that good stuff. Like, Nito Donaire is always going to be an all-time great. But guess what? It shows you who's coming up. So that kid Saya, he's got a good name on his resume now. He's got a Nonito Donaire on his resume. What does that do for you? The same thing it did for Inoue. Bring you up, So hopefully he catapults his career off that name.
Yeah.
So I would only want my opponents who beat me to catapult off that immediately.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, should he get a rematch? I think I would probably favor Donaire, only because, listen, he's the veteran and he knows what adjustments need to be made. But man, shout out to Nonito, man. He's still doing his thing in the game, man, and still giving these young bucks a run for their money, man. So shout out to him. Shout out to Gami. He says, shout out to bro Zach. He once ran a whole 16 miles while I was on the bike.
Yo, man. Oh my God. That's memories, bro. You know how that happened? Real talk. You know how that happened?
Yeah.
We ordered a pizza pie, just me and him, and we was just chilling in the crib. And he ate half the pizza pie, I ate half the pizza pie, and we was all full laying on the floor, and he goes, yo, bro, you can't even go running after this right now, right? He was just playing around. I said, what? I'll run 15 miles right now. I don't care. He was like, stop playing. I was like, go get the bike. He went on the bike. I ran from Bushwick, Ridgewood to Coney Island and back.
Wow.
And I stopped right at the bodega and drank a coconut drink from Goya.
Yo, shout out to Nikanoff 7844 said hello. Kami said that's a fact.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. That's my boy. That's my boy.
All right, listen. So we got that. Before we get into the even bigger news, Teofimo-Stevenson recently had their press conference in New York. They're fighting January 31st, Madison Square Garden. What did you think of the press conference, and what kind of energy you think both fighters showed?
I mean, Shakur, he showed the same energy he always shows. Confident, ready to work, ready to fight, but with a little bit of more respect, because he doesn't really show to the guys too much respect. But Teofimo in the face-off, I'm going outside of Teofimo talking and all this stuff. But when the Teofimo and him were in the face-off, it's a little different. Shakur knows that, he's coming to fight, and Teofimo knows he's got a real talent in front of him. I'm saying generational talent in front of him. And so Teofimo's taking this very serious. He can make all the jokes he wants. That guy is locked in. And Shakur Stevenson, he's coming to fight. I like that everything was about them two. There was a whole bunch of other fighters trying to get the shine from their stuff, but look, it was all about Teofimo and Shakur Stevenson, and I like it.
Yeah. Listen, I know that we're hoping that it's a good fight, right? Stylistically, it kind of goes towards potentially not an exciting fight, but I think that there's potential here, and hopefully these guys can take that potential and raise it to the next level at the biggest stage of both of their careers. I would say, it doesn't get any bigger than Madison Square Garden, New York City, for a fight between two guys at that level, two young guys. We usually, somebody made this comment that we usually get this fight when they're like in their mid 30s and past their prime. No, we're getting it right now in their 20s.
Yep.
that should be celebrated, but just kind of not celebrated a little, not too much, because they still have to fight, right? It could bomb out, right? It could stink the building, which we don't want. But
Or somebody gets injured during camp and it gets postponed. I wouldn't be surprised, but I want both these guys to fight. January is coming around the corner.
yeah, yeah, and listen, I saw when they went face to face, I, I I got a little bit of a different vibe from Teo. Like he knows exactly what this is. This is probably bigger. I would say probably it is. This is bigger than Josh Taylor. This is maybe even bigger than Lomachenko in regards to level of where these guys at. Yeah, Lomachenko was at a legendary status already, but was he really at peak, or was he already on the downslide a little bit? You know what I mean? Not taking away nothing from
Yeah,
Taylor. I'm just saying.
yeah. I think
He
I would say it was more not because I like Lomo, but I would say it's bigger than the Josh Taylor fight. The only reason why is because the performance that Loma had against Devin Haney. That's why. And for
Gotcha.
Teo to do and for Teo to have a great fight like that against Loma when he was even before that fight, that was you got to take your hat off to Teo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But
I
the
mean,
magnitude is bigger because it's urban type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Two young guys that talk a lot. So yeah,
and
you
they
win with that one.
and
Yep.
they were at the Breakfast Club, and they did all the New York media rounds, and
All
so
that PR shit,
yeah,
everything.
I'm hoping that the city really gets behind this one because they need to. Um, tickets are starting to move already a little bit. I expect, you always expect the first 2 weeks to have like that spike, and then it kind of levels off as we get closer to Christmas, New Year's, probably level off a little bit, and then it'll turn back up hopefully in January. So we'll see. Shout out to my guy Mo, who does the South podcast um, about the NFC South on YouTube. Check him out. And then Little C Bean also joined. All right, let's get into Terence Crawford. He announced his retirement on Tuesday with a tweet that had a video accompanying it. The video was narrated by him, as I said in my article on fightsatw.com. Well thought out. He took his time. It was well produced. Sometimes when doing things like this, and you're talking about retirement, when you're doing it in a form where you're taking your time and you're able to really get all your thoughts out without having the pressure of meeting a time block and everything else, it's different than doing it publicly.
It
Like
is,
I
man.
like I could tell you that from experience, because when I retired from the Marine Corps, doing it publicly, there's so many thoughts and emotions and everything running through your mind as you're talking that you sometimes maybe not think about everything that you need to be thinking about. So for him to do it this way, I like it because he was able to get the right thank yous out, and the people that helped that were there for him throughout his career. So he retires at the age of 38. Zach, what were your first thoughts, your immediate reaction when you saw the news?
I liked it, man. Because you couldn't get any better than that, bro. It's like if Roy Jones would have retired after he beat, Ruiz, or if he got that decision after Tarver, that close one. You retire the man. Retire on top. One of the greatest. There's nothing you can say. Anybody can bring up any fighters, young fighters right now. Terence Crawford's done it. He's done it all. He's done everything he wanted to do. And guess what? He paid his fucking dues. You know why he paid his dues? Nobody cared about Terence Crawford. Nobody was lined up to watch Terence Crawford. He came straight from the bottom, as in like, he wasn't the superstars. He wasn't the Victor Ortizes. He wasn't the Saddam Ali's. He wasn't anybody. And they all came up from the same era and had a bigger name than him. I one time said to Kelly Swanson, shout out to Kelly Swanson, good lady, PR. And I said to her, yo, I'm fighting in Nebraska. I had a fight coming up in Nebraska, but it got canceled. And she said, I didn't know there was boxing in Nebraska. Nobody looks at Nebraska for a boxing city. So for somebody like Terence Crawford to come from there and do what he's done in the sport, and walk away healthy. That motherfucker is healthy, bro. Healthy, rich. Rich. I don't care what people want to say comparisons. He don't got more money than Floyd. He don't need more money than Floyd. He is rich. He did what he got to do. And you could put him in any era, and he's going to give anybody a competition in a big-ass fight.
Yeah, and listen, I think that the only thing that for me was that it's unfortunate that, and I wrote this in my story too, that due to boxing politics, he didn't fight some of the other bigger names during the height of the welterweight division.
Yes, because you're talking about the Keith Thurmans, the
Danny Garcia,
the Danny Garcias. Yes.
Yeah, during that peak, like he wasn't able to get those fights, and
but he wanted them.
He wanted them. It's just that the politics didn't, and it kind of leaves you a little bit of like emptiness, right? But he made up for it by finally getting the Errol Spence fight and dominating, and then finally getting the Canelo fight and then dominating. So, and so this news came kind of a little bit of surprise, but it didn't, because they were just talks or rumors or whatever that he was chasing undisputed at 160, right? Or that was going to be the next plan. I think he had mentioned that he was going to look at 160 after the Canelo fight. But this whole thing with Janibek, testing positive for Osterin and not fighting on the Lara fight. Now those two belts that he has likely get broken down. And then, so now you got the belts all over the place again.
You want to chase.
That would have been a longer journey versus him fighting Janibek Lara winner, and then if he won, fighting Bronco Adamez, and then being undisputed, right? Or potentially. So that could have been done in 2 fights in 2026, easy. But because that scenario played out the way it was, then you have to, if you're Terence Crawford, you're 38, you're looking at, well, am I going to take the next 2 years plus to try to chase the opportunity to do this? Or have I done enough up to this point and just, want to call it a career? And I think he went with the latter.
Yeah, I think what you said is perfect. He had those two decisions. Do I chase and go and get these 2 years of fighting again and risk injury? Just had a big training camp with Canelo, all that clean, by the way. No testing positive. Terence Crawford, shout out to him. Or do I just retire? I already did everything. He did everything. And plus, sanctioning body don't help. A lot of the politics in the game and a lot of the business doesn't help. As far as, hey, maybe WBC might not give him a shot because he, the way anything, so he says, I'm going to chill, retire. I ain't got to worry about nothing. I did everything I got to do. And guess what? Terence Crawford's at that point where he can say and do anything he wants to do in boxing. And he did it, man. He retired. Shout out to him. Whoever's the fucking mayor of Nebraska needs to get a statue of him made and put it somewhere in the city. And I'm being very serious, because just like they do Kobe, just like they did with Sylvester Stallone when he came to Philly and Frazier, go ahead, bro. Put Terrence up there. He needs that.
Yeah, I got my man Mario Mugia. What's the deal, champ? What's going on? Hold on, let me get this.
Champ. Hey, champ, you know, this is the first time you sent me the link, so I had to come through. No, I'm playing.
Here we go.
Nah, it's good to be back. Hey, champ, Zachary Ochoa, champ, one of my favorites of all time. You probably don't remember we from the TBV days, but
what's going on, man? Oh my God, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Wow, that's crazy. What the hell?
Yeah, bro. Oh man, I've been really good. I'm actually thinking about stepping to the ring myself. Border Wars, Ness has been doing it, and I've been thinking, man, you know what, dude? I lost all this weight. I might as well do something with it, right? I mean, the greatest of all time just retired. So somebody got to step up and, excite the world. You know what I mean? Biggest left hand in Border Wars history. You know how it goes.
Go ahead. Yep. Hell yeah. Why not?
Yo, Mario, what's good, man? Terence Crawford retires. What you thinking? You think that he comes back again, or do you think that this is real and we don't ever see him lace up the gloves anymore?
I think it's real right now, right? And that's kind of the way that boxing works. It's the way that wrestling works, MMA. The problem with combat sports is that there's no other alternative, right? If you're an MLB player and you're decent, right? There's a chance you're going to get a job on MLB network or ESPN or Fox, or you could start a whole new chapter of little leagues and coaching and private lessons. And there's so much money to be made in all these other sports. The problem is in boxing, fighters like Zachary Ochoa, who work so hard, who go to the gym twice a day, right? Spar 5 different people for 15 rounds. And then at the end of the day, what is left for them, right? And the people that are supposed to help are not helping. In fact, the only reason why they want to help now is because somebody else is trying to come in and take everything. So at the end of the day, is it real? It's real right now in this moment. Does that mean that a Floyd Mayweather fight in an exhibition sort of situation, or a Pacquiao fight or something else? I think that's absolutely a potential, and I would
Jake
love
Paul?
to see it. Or Jake Paul, exactly. We heard Ryan Garcia on DDG's Live the other day claiming that Crawford told Paul next year. Whether that's true or not, we can't say, but yeah, that's a lot of money.
if Brian Garcia said it, then hey, you don't know, because Ryan Garcia, he got ears, man. He be knowing stuff. Man. But
real,
one thing Jake said though, Mario, one thing Jake said, he said, no, Terence Crawford's not retiring. They all do it. They all follow the thing. They all try the same thing. And he's right to a certain extent, but nobody has done what Terence Crawford has done. So he's pulling the Andre Ward. He's pulling the real shit, retiring on top. Not like these other guys, like even Shakur and Teofimo, all these other guys say, oh, I retired. And then they come right, they try to get a name, they try to get the name talked about and stuff. But yeah, Terence Crawford is very serious. And there is always potential for him to come back and fight for big money again. So why not?
And, one last thing too I'll say about it is that at the end of the day, the fees thing, Terence Crawford, moving from different promoter to different promoter towards the end of his career to get the best fights, he has been a trendsetter to a degree. Look, I covered this sport in the Mayweather-Pacquiao era, where there was tons of money going around, but it was only isolated at the very tippity 1% top of the sport, right? And I remember that era, and I remember it as one of the worst in terms of excitement, in terms of getting fights, you know what I mean? And so ultimately, if Terence Crawford is this new trendsetter that's showing, the elite, the top guys, look, you don't have to beat yourself until you're 50, until you're 60. You can pull out. You got to be smart with your money. I mean, there's like a lot of aspects to this, but ultimately, if this is a good trend-setting moment, I'm proud of him and what he hopefully does for the young, kids of the sport when they get to his point.
And I tell you, you saying trend-setting, but aren't we seeing that across all sports? Aren't we seeing football players retiring earlier than you would normally see? Aren't you seeing basketball players, from baseball players, just saying, "Hey, come on in"? Like, I think we're seeing that more and more. And on IG, shout out to Tris Dixon, UK Boxing Hall of Fame writer from Boxing Scene, and shout out to Jake Donovan that's on there as well.
Shout out Jake.
I appreciate y'all.
But I think what I think is happening is, to be honest, Abe, is people are becoming a lot more financially smarter when it comes to their money. The reason why these guys had to fight all the way till they're like 40 or 50 is because they weren't smart financially. They're becoming more aware of their finances, where it's going. And so they're taking advantage of that. And they're saying, I can walk away early, I'm good. The guys who do come back, they either have the money problems or they really love the sport and they just need that attention. They need it,
Yeah, and that's very hard to walk away from. I would have to assume. Jay, what's going on? Talk to me, man. What you thinking? Terence Crawford retiring.
What's up, guys? It's always good to talk to you.
What up, Jay?
Yeah, I'm I'm happy that Crawford's retired. It's always good to go out on top. I just want to say this. I am so hoping Usyk does the same thing. I do not like this Wilder fight. But with Crawford, you could see it coming a mile away because I did a video on this leading into the Canelo fight. After Spence, he was literally the superstar of boxing, which is so difficult in these days of streaming. And he could have made decent money. I'm not saying Mayweather money, but decent money against anyone. And instead, he chose not to do anything except push for Crawford. And yeah, he had Madrimov. That was forgettable, and that was a high-risk, low-reward fight. Yeah. So he literally, after a career best performance like Mayweather against Corrales, he put everything into the Canelo fight. So afterwards, and he won clearly, I thought, well, he's definitely not going to fight high-risk, low-reward fights now. So it's either rematch or retire. And also when Janibek tested positive, I thought, well, that just ruled out that fight, not like it was ever likely in the first place. So yeah, when he had his little I like Crawford, but it was a hissy fit with the WBC. Like, we know these sanctioning bodies are crazy, but like, for example, Usyk was stripped like less than a week after he beat Fury. So these guys are nuts. When he had his hissy fit, I thought, okay, this guy's probably fed up with boxing. He's probably going to retire. So I'm happy he did, and you could see it coming, and good for him.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. The one thing that I would say with that, and I put this in the article that I wrote, and I'm gonna leave my opinion on this thing. Hey, Apollo Creed said this in Rocky IV: without some challenge, without some war to fight, then the warrior may as well be dead. I'm just saying.
Right.
I think that we see Terence Crawford come back in a year or so, but in an exhibition form, make a ton of money, and maybe once or at the most twice, but that's it. And then kind of go from there. I could also very well see him being involved in the Zuffa TKO situation.
Good call.
In the future. And no coincidence in the timing of him retiring now, because their first event is going to be in January. So would I be surprised if there's like some sort of announcement in the beginning of the year or towards the end of the year of Crawford having some sort of position there or doing some business with them? I would not be surprised. So maybe keep an eye out on that, and maybe that's why retirement is good for him now, because he doesn't want to seem like contradicting himself or or trying to do too much and not being 100% focused on fighting. And so him doing that would benefit will keep him focused and on the straight and narrow with his future endeavors. So
yeah, I agree. I think also you have to look at, you said it best, it's like the competition aspect of it, right? This guy is a competitor. This guy is someone who is driven every day to be his best version, right? You're going to get, like, the retirement life can get tiring for someone like that. It can get restless for someone like that unless they have something, I'll be honest, there's this like sicko part of me that would just love, because I watch MMA and I know how good that Terence Crawford is at wrestling. I mean, you look at him and he's got, and look, I know MMA is a crazy thing, but at the end of the day, let me tell you, there is a market out there to see Terence Crawford prove himself. Not in the UFC, that's ridiculous. Not in the PFL, that's ridiculous. In fact, I think he could do his own thing. But I want to real quick make one last point. You said them giving Terence Crawford a position, and I think that's such a good point. And if you remember, Abe, that is how Golden Boy moved. Very early in their business model, they had brought in Mosley, gave him a piece. They brought in Hopkins, gave him a piece. They tried to do the same with Pacquiao. And so they were bringing in this conglomeration of the fighters and the top fighters. And if TKO is going to make an effort to take care of fighters in that same kind of way that makes them a partner of this model, then I say that's a great thing.
Yeah, and listen, you hinted about the MMA stuff. Would people be open to seeing McGregor versus Crawford in a cage?
Yo, oh my God. That's a clip. You just got yourself a clip right here. Well, it's my clip.
That's crazy.
I'm telling you, like
that's crazy. That's crazy.
I think that would blow shit up. And
for sure.
And the thing is that McGregor would be at a certain point. He's not like at elite level no more, but he's still a name. And Crawford coming in, that would be something. And look, Sky Sports,
it would sell huge.
They're lining up deals with
Aim's mind does not stop turning.
Because even if Terence Crawford lost, he's still undefeated in boxing forever.
Yeah, but think about Terence Crawford versus Conor McGregor in the Sphere, promoted by Dana White.
That's huge. Fucking huge. That's a giant fight. And guess what? Dana's gonna take all that bread. So
yeah, but listen, Sky Sports is already. They're saying that they're lining up deals with Dana White and Jake Paul. So they put that out there today. I guess we'll see.
They just need to stop playing with that fucking Muhammad Ali act. Stop playing with that shit. Yeah, that's different.
This is my question, and I'm gonna throw it to you, Jay, first. What does Canelo do now? He's fighting. He's looking at September. Who does he fight now? Like, I mean, what fight is out there that is going to justify paying him the $40-50 million that he's owed for the second to last fight on his contract?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. You know me, short, sweet, to the point, blunt, as always. No, all joking aside, there's no fight that justifies these big paydays he wants. Canelo's, I got to make this perfectly clear because I got accused of being a Canelo hater to the point where I just went off social media afterwards. Canelo is done. He is finished. There's nothing wrong with that. He's been fighting a long time. He's not the best fighter of this era. Usyk's resume is much better. Inoue's resume is better. Let me just get that out there. But Canelo is done. Finished. End of story. You cannot justify paying him this money. Yes, he did do a lot of this to himself by ducking Benavidez, but what else can I say? He is finished. You can't. Can he keep fighting? Sure, but in terms of making the big money he wants, he's not the headliner he used to be. He did a lot of damage to his image because he ducked Benavidez like the plague, but it happens. Sugar Ray Leonard retired after Norris because he knew he couldn't justify these big paydays anymore. Eventually, he did come back, and that was one of the worst comebacks in history. We all point to Roy Jones, but yeah, there's just, I can't think of any other way to say it, man. He's done.
Wow.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Zach, do you think that this is the moment where Turkey inserts Hamza Shiraz or Benavidez fights him, gets the fight in September?
Benavidez fight Canelo?
Yeah.
My God, they would have to offer Canelo half of Dubai for that to happen. That's not happening.
Well, the thing is, I mean, he's already under contract, though.
Well, I see more Shiraz. Shiraz is more likely to happen. And Shiraz, he's the type of guy he can cause an upset. He can. He's long. He's rangy. He can fight. He's tough. But would Canelo want to take that risky fight? Unless he's paid a crazy bag, he's always going to get paid good. But I'm talking about against a risky opponent, he wants to get paid way better. But I'm talking if he takes a fight with Benavidez, Canelo's the man. I highly doubt it will happen because of his pride and how much they've talked and everything. But money changed everything. So,
but he's got 2 fights left on that Turkey contract.
Okay, so Shiraz and then Benavidez,
and then what? Benavidez does what Oscar De La Hoya did to Chavez Sr. and finish him off?
I say nothing. All I know is Benavidez is a bad motherfucker,
bro.
Benavidez is a sick individual. He's top of Mexican boxing right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that cruiserweight fight potentially in May against Zurdo Ramirez. So
does he? Because I've been reading FightsATW.com and I don't know if there's something else going on.
I don't know. I mean, listen,
man.
I'm tapped in with a lot of those folks over there, so I think that it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know if he comes back down after that, right? Like
It's just sad though when another fighter had something planned, especially so close. And of course, you're gonna do the big fight. But listen, if they want him to fight David Benavidez, Zach's right. They're gonna have to give him double, triple, whatever he wants. That guy is a monster. And a point to Jay's point, right? Like, first of all, it is ridiculous for anyone to feel the need to leave social media because they say something honest about a fighter. That's ridiculous. The truth is, Canelo is one of the greatest of this era. I would agree, Usyk. I would agree, Inoue. But listen, we go back to the Floyd Mayweather era, right? There was a guy named Ivan Calderon, and you could play Monday Morning Quarterback and talk about everything else. But that guy could have been pound for pound at the time that everybody was talking about Mayweather, and he had a better resume than Floyd Mayweather. So at the end of at that time, I meant. And so, you have that. You have all these different aspects of the game. So Canelo has, I think, very little direction to go that would have him like the point man. But I do think that in one of those two fights, Turkey's going to come to him and he's going to, ask him for the face. He's going to say, look, we like Shiraz. This is a kid that we really, really like. We're going to need you to do the job, and to plug my Infighting FX where we talk about wrestling, Canelo would give him that don't work for me, brother. I ain't fighting no David Benavidez. He praying Zudo pulls off the upset or something, bro.
Oh my God. And just to say, Canelo has fought. Really, the only person he has never fought, he's fought everybody. He has not fought Pacquiao because, obviously the weight thing and different times and everything like that. But he's fought everybody. Really think about it. He's fought Floyd. He's fought Terence Crawford. Can we have what are the mutual fighters that have both fought Terence Crawford and Floyd?
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
Dude.
Not many.
Yeah, not many. All right, listen, we're going to go into the big one, right? Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul, Friday on Netflix, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Wow, the odds on this one, let me just point it out currently, is, I'm refreshing it because it just blanked out. All right, so Joshua's at minus 1,200, so 12-1 favorite. Paul's at plus 700. Paul by KO, TKO is at plus 1,200. Paul by decisions at plus 1,600. Joshua by KO is at minus 400, and Joshua by decision is at plus 450.
What's the draw? What's the draw though?
It was like 1,600 or 2,200, something like that. Let me see what Adam put
That's
on
not
a
even
few
close
comments.
enough for me.
He said, I'm not worried about Jake Paul's
now.
skills. I think he's good and he's getting better. It's the size disadvantage I'm worried about. He was like, Conor ain't fighting no Crawford, but won't even fight Jake Paul. He won't, he said. And let me see who you guys got and how. We're gonna get into it right now. So
yeah, bro.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, Netflix. I'm gonna start with you, Zach. What do you think of this matchup, and are people overlooking Jake Paul?
I'm gonna say this clear. Jake Paul has gotten better as a fighter in the gym. He's gotten better as a gym fighter. He's gotten better at hitting the bag. He's gotten better. He's been in the ring. He's got millions of dollars to get the top experience in the gym. Remember these words. Gym is very important. And he can look all great and everything, but the way Anthony Joshua is talking is vicious. Like I'm talking about the way he's talking, it's in a way where it's like he doesn't really care what's everybody's talking about, what's going on and things like that. I believe he is going to hurt Jake Paul. Like he's going to hurt Jake Paul, and there's no letting up. Like he's gonna really hurt that kid. And Jake Paul can always say, "Hey, I went in there with the best, and fuck, who else would fucking do that fighting after or just started boxing for a week, and he had nothing to lose and gain all the money. You understand? The reason why Jake Paul is in this business is because maybe he didn't really love boxing before, but he realized how quick of a bag it can get him, and then he started to really start getting into the sport, starting to love it and everything like that, and then he's helping other fighters. So, I got Anthony Joshua really hurting this guy, and if Jake could last a couple rounds, and big respect on him, to be honest.
And you talked about the gym stuff because he had Cassius Chaney down there who
Yes,
was
he
supposed
has
to fight
great
Joshua.
wisdom. Yeah.
Shannon Briggs was
Frank
there
Sanchez, I heard.
doing some advising. So he brought in the people that he needed to bring in. I'm gonna go to you, Mario. Listen, this thing is Paulie Malignaggi said on one of his podcasts. He was like, Jake, yeah, he's gotten better, but he still hasn't learned how to, catch and shoot in the tight pocket. Because anytime that there's offense coming his way, he backs up or moves around. He hasn't learned how to, dodge and kind of hit at the same time and counter. Um, do you think that Jake is going to do just enough to survive, or do you think that he's going to really go for it?
No, I don't think he really goes for it. I don't. I don't think he really goes for it for two reasons. One, surviving the fight is a win. You remember what Logan Paul did after the Mayweather fight. He went on a media run for about a month, basically saying he won the fight just by surviving, right? I was given really great advice young in my journalistic career by Bart Berry. He told me, go to the ring and box, spar, see what the fighters deal with, because until you know what it is to be a fighter, you can never cover this sport accurately. And he was so right. And that taught me going into the ring, taking novice fights, it taught me that there are levels to this, real levels. And at the end of the day, 2 + 2 does not equal 5. And to say that is to say that Jake Paul somehow has a chance against a guy, a physical specimen like AJ. But then at the end of the day, he's just been doing it longer. Okay, let's say I'm a plumber and I've been doing it for 5 weeks. What would you rather have, me, the guy 5 weeks, or Jay, who's been doing it for 5 years? Of course you'd rather have the guy that's doing it for 5 years. Ultimately, AJ has a huge reason to want to knock this guy out in front of everybody, and that's the Fury fight. That is a huge domestic fight, right? AJ Fury. But is it a really big American fight? I think it could be if he ends the Jake Paul legacy in devastating fashion. That replay will play on, and it will count for them when they end up fighting that fight.
Yeah. Hey, Jay. So in saying all of that, do you think that there's a part of Jake Paul that is in the back of my mind? He's saying, if I get knocked the fuck out, that is gonna that's gonna rate, because he doesn't lose if he gets knocked out, right? He doesn't lose. He's in a win-win situation. But if he gets knocked out, like, he might be sick enough to where he's like, yo, if I get knocked out, this shit elevates it even more. Like, this goes from 60 million eyeballs to 80 million eyeballs on Netflix. So and that changes bank accounts, right? Changes, where you have your money at. so Jay, you think that might be in the back of his mind, or do you think he's really trying to win this fight?
Well, you ask, does he see this as a win-win situation? I mean, maybe. I don't know if kamikaze pilots actually saw it as a win-win when they blew themselves up and fighting America. So I don't know. Jake Paul might be demented enough in the head to think if he gets knocked out, it's a win-win. I mean, it's a lose-lose for his brain and hopefully not his life. So I don't know. I don't know what goes on inside that guy's head. I don't want to know, because the guy's demented along with his brother. So if he gets knocked out again, I don't see how anybody could think that's good. I don't think he believes he can actually win. But then again, okay, I'll just say this: I'm not into the Jake Paul thing. This is why I've never covered it on my channel. So
Good.
I don't know to what extent this is real, because, like, I forget which fight it was, but there was a report that there was a clause in the contract his opponent wasn't allowed to knock him out. So if he actually did sign up to this fight and there's no clause in the contract that AJ has to go easy on him, then I'm not going to say that I respect this guy, but I will say he's got balls. But there's no way he can win this fight unless Joshua maybe has a heart attack on the way to the ring. So it's just
and I'm gonna tell you though, Joshua is not unbeatable. I mean, the guy, he is, stiff in there, a lot of times, and if you move around enough, you could probably, get some rounds under you. He has to be able to catch you though.
Do you think Jake has the power to put AJ down? Not like permanently, but a flash knockdown type of thing? Does he have that kind of power to put a heavyweight down at 240, 250?
It's not about the power. I'm going to tell you guys. It's not about the power. It's about I just want to say one thing real quick. You said something about the plumber. Okay, the plumber's been doing it for 5 years, and this guy's only been doing it for 2 weeks. But the plumber that's been doing it for 5 years been doing it the wrong way, and the plumber that's been doing it for 2 weeks has been doing it the right way. So you never know. The only difference here is that this is Anthony Joshua's nature, though. He's nature. When something comes at him, he's automatic. You don't see Jake Paul's not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? He is that crazy Jake Paul's persona reminds me of Johnny Knoxville, these guys like Jackass and everything like that.
Good call.
For the buck, they'll knock themselves the fuck out. They'll get their tooth knocked out. They don't care. Okay, maybe what is it? His look of being like this guy, but he don't give a fuck because he's getting more money than everybody that's talking about him. So does he have good guys in camp with him? Yes, he can do a great job. He can do the best he can. Will it help him against Anthony Joshua? For a little bit.
And first of all, Zach, bro, I felt the shit out of that one. Good take. But it's like this, right?
Pause.
Who's to say that this isn't Jake's cash out fight? Who's to say that Jake isn't cashing himself out? And at the end of the day, he's going to go to arm wrestling, or he's going to go to MMA, or he's going to go to slap box, or he's going to go to, any of the many combat sports that are, being thrown out there at the public, at the TikTok public to try to, whatever. And so he could be cashing himself out here. We have no idea. And by the way, when you cash yourself out in boxing, unlike MMA, you don't lose your value, right? Like boxing fans, casual boxing fans have a short memory. This guy can cash himself out tomorrow or Friday and come back in 2027, 2028. He's still so
That's
young.
right, Mario.
Yeah, and
right.
on top of that, remember, guys, the fight is only 8 rounds. It's only 8 rounds.
If he lasts 8 rounds, he gets respect.
Hell yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you this though, and I still can't get this quote out of my head when Andy Ruiz said on their first fight, he said, "I ain't never been hit as hard as Anthony Joshua hit me on that first knockdown." And Andy Ruiz has taken some big punches for some dudes. So I've always kept that in my head, and I was like, man, Joshua coming with some power. If he doesn't knock out Jake, does that hurt Joshua's fight with Fury? Give it to me, Zach.
Oh man, damn. It does. It does a little bit. It does. They can still make it happen and still go crazy about it, but it does. The reason why is because why the fuck you didn't get rid of this kid, the YouTuber guy, all right? That's what they'll say, but guess what? You can't get rid of somebody who doesn't want to fight. So hopefully Jake comes to fight. If not, he can run around all 8 rounds with his hands in the air knowing he lost, and that still sucks, but it'll suck for AJ more than anything because of that. He wants to get that Fury fight. That's a big fight. And I don't know, man. It's just a lot of crazy shit going on, man.
Yeah, and
I like Jay. Jay's cool because Jay, you know what I'm saying? He likes talking about boxing. But this is what we've come to. And hey,
well said.
If Jake Paul, say if he did win, say if Jake Paul wins, Jake Paul becomes a real player in boxing.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not talking about like as in ticket sales. No, you have to put him on ratings because he just beat a real fighter. And now all that pity patty shit is out the window. He's a real fighter. And and I think he knows that, and he wants it bad, real bad. So who knows? But Anthony
Fury's in Miami right now.
Oh, okay, no shit.
Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul next year or something, right? That's what they said.
Jay,
yeah, so
can I just throw this out there?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You guys are talking about how if Jake Paul wins, he becomes a player in boxing. Well, you talked about how if he loses, he shouldn't lose all of his value, etc. When he lost to the first serious boxer he ever fought, Tommy Fury, you said this, Mario, that he won't lose his boxing. When he lost to Tommy Fury, who did he fight? A guy who used to fight at 155 pounds, when Jake Paul fights at like 200 pounds, in Nate Diaz, and an MMA fighter. Like Jake, look, somebody's got to say it, so I will. Jake Paul is the biggest joke in boxing, and you guys saying, well, if he beats AJ, he becomes a serious player. Well, people said the same thing about Ngannou before the AJ fight, and what happened? Ngannou almost died.
Well,
that happens. If he dies, he dies, though.
Well, Ngannou did like unofficially beat Fury.
Bro, that's real talk right there.
Well, the only reason he did well in that fight is because Tyson Fury didn't train. And I despise Tyson Fury. I've got nothing good to say about this guy, but
no, you don't.
The only reason Ngannou did well in that fight is because Fury didn't take him seriously. When a boxer did take Ngannou seriously, again, he almost got killed.
No.
I appreciate you saying that, Jay. I do, but then I feel like now I have to say this. A joke in the promotional sense, fine. Yes, I don't think he could beat a serious world champ. I don't even think he could beat Brandon Glanton right now, okay? So at the end of the day, I agree with that. But, man, this guy's training. This guy's working. And at the end of the day, whether he's on juice or not, it doesn't matter. You see him every day putting in the work of a fighter. Does that make him deserve to make this much money and fight AJ? No, it doesn't. It shouldn't. But at the end of the day, it's like Zach said, we're where we are today. And I want to make one point real quick because I see the chat talking, about what Abe said. And I want to tell y'all, Abe taught me something this year, right? The Vince McMahon documentary, for those that don't know, came out on Netflix, and it was being pushed. And then the week before, we started getting info from like Vince and people, and they were like, oh, Vince doesn't want you to see this. Vince is trying to get it pulled. Vince told Netflix not to play it. And at the end of the day, it was all a lie. They wanted you to see it more, right? They wanted you to watch it more because it doesn't matter on Netflix whether people are watching it live. It matters the total amount of numbers, okay? And so if people hear Jake got knocked out, don't even fool yourself for a minute. They are going to go more to Netflix than they would in any other, fashion, whether it's TikTok or whatever. So if this is a cash out moment for Jake, he will absolutely go in there and have no problem getting knocked out. Like Zach said, this is the jackass era, the Mike will do it era or Steve will do it era, whatever. At the end of the day, these kids, the Nelf boys, they're making all this money through social media that they'll do anything for hits, anything. Last point, does it hurt Tyson Fury and AJ? Not from being made. That fight's as good as made. But if he does not perform the way that Americans expect AJ to perform against Jake, it will absolutely have an impact on the American interest.
Good shit, Myra.
Yeah, listen, last call, I'm going to go around real quick. Who wins and how? Just real quick, who wins and how? I'm going to go start with Jay.
AJ by stoppage in round 5.
Okay. All right. Mario.
I was going to pick 5, so I'll pick 4. AJ in round 4.
Okay. Zach.
Anthony Joshua, first round knockout.
Woo!
Champ. Yo, the champ, bro.
I'm gonna say, and this is the unpopular opinion. I'm gonna say,
don't do it. Don't do it, Abe.
I'm gonna say Joshua by decision.
Oh my God, he did it.
You wildin'. Yo, bro, you wildin', boy. Yo, you wildin'.
I knew it, Zach. He wasn't he hadn't been talking about this on the show at all. Anytime we asked him, and he would just
with Jake Paul. That's fine.
You're slick, Abe. You're slick. You're slick, Abe.
Not at all, man. I think it's gonna be, I haven't heard the size of the ring yet or anything like that, but I think Jake Paul by decision.
My boy Jay hates this shit. I love that. I love that he hates it so much. It makes me happy that he hates it because I hate shit like that too.
Look, I got to back you up here. I don't think Jake Paul's going to last the distance, but I can understand the logic. AJ's unpredictable. This guy is not a trained killer every time. This guy is not Lennox Lewis personified. So he's unpredictable. He went the distance with I forget the. He's had times where he didn't even try to go for the kill, like against Joseph Parker. He never once tried to cause damage. So I don't think that's going to happen because Jake Paul's not a boxer, but it's not the craziest decision in the world. And also, who knows what Joshua's like after getting flatlined by Dubois.
That's a good point. I'll help out one more time too. I'll give you a point also. AJ told Eddie this past year, "I want a tune-up fight. Get me a tune-up fight before Fury." That was
he
like,
got him.
For
he
sure.
He got him.
So then, is AJ better off not wasting this moment, going out there and trying to kill this kid in 3? Or getting rounds in and treating it like, because this is going to be a lot of eyes at the end of the day. Whether Jake is, giving him the resistance that a true heavyweight fighter will give. That's not the point. The point is that he's going to have all the eyeballs. He's going to have all the big feel, right? And that's the kind of environment he's going to have for Fury. Now, he's been in that moment before, but at the end of the day, maybe he ends up putting in some work. Maybe he ends up letting Jake, survive a little longer. And then if Jake's got room at the end to move around, why not try to survive? So, you know what? I can't see it, Abe. I really can't.
And this is the thing. I'm seeing just a little bit of a glimpse of a different AJ this week. Just a little bit.
What kind of glimpse, bro?
I saw him at I think it was at the workout where he had uncharacteristically big Cuban link chain with a diamond pendant on. Looked like that's just not AJ's vibe.
Yo, you think he's sleeping on silk sheets?
Yo,
no, he did it on purpose because he doesn't come like that. But this dude, he came to the last press conference with a crazy chain, so he wanted to come with it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think
that's just what it is, bro.
I think Joshua is kind of like he's trying to put on for the situation and maybe doing things that are out of character a little bit because of what it means to be in this space with Jake.
He is trying to put on, but the manner in which he went about it, I got the vibe that Zach got in that, he sounds like he is ready.
Yeah,
like he has a full understanding of what's going to happen.
He's talking that shit.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. Listen, we're gonna go around the horn to plug in where you got your stuff material at. Before we head out, Jay, let them know where they can find your material.
Yeah, Fight Sport Talk on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. I've got a lot of stuff that I want to start working on in 2026, and all the work in progress. By the way, Jermaine Franklin was the guy I was talking about, and Jake Paul. Oh, yeah. I don't think Jake Paul can hurt Joshua, but neither could Jermaine Franklin. So that's the fight I was looking for. So. Yeah, those are the plugins for the audience.
Okay, thank you. Mario, let them know.
Infighting FX, Infighting Exchange, spelled INFIGTAING FX on all platforms: TikTok, YouTube, IG, Twitch. Hit us up. We go live Monday through Thursday. We'll be live doing a watch along for Friday too. So tap in. Jay, I got you. I'm following you right now.
All right,
for sure, bro. I'll follow you too.
And then Zach,
you can follow me nowhere. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere, Facebook. Follow me at those places. I'm nowhere to be found, and I appreciate everybody.
Like a real fighter.
And keep watching boxing because boxing the greatest thing. Shout out to Jay, Mario, and Gabe. You guys are great people. Keep doing your thing, man.
Yeah, that's what's up. Hey, listen, thank you. We got about 110, 111 watching live. We appreciate y'all. I know we came on a Wednesday, vice Friday. So thank you for rocking with us. And until next time, peace.